Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and thank you for joining us today for the third online edition of the Dubai Global Partnership Series. After Vietnam and Israel, we have decided to bring into the spotlight an old and well established business partner of Dubai and the UAE. Our robust relations with Kazakhstan have done nothing but grow over the past years, and today we want to look into the latest updates of the trade and investment environment of both markets. Please note that you have the opportunity to send questions to speakers throughout the webinar using the function at the bottom of your screen. And if you wish to network with any of your fellow peers who are present today, please feel free to use the dialog box to the right of your screen. And now, to get started with today's program, I would like to introduce His Excellency Madhya, Chairman of the Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry, for a welcome address.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Excellencies, Ambassador, Republic of Kazakhstan to the UAE, Your Excellencies, Vice Minister of National Economy of Republic of Kazakhstan, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I would like to welcome you today to our virtual event and thank you all for joining us. Definitely, there is many reasons why we organize this virtual event. No doubt, all of you know that we have very close relation with Kazakhstan, especially when it's come to our political relation. I think the both leadership of the two countries consider the other country is like their second home. So we are really enjoy a fantastic political relation. And because of that, our economic relation and trade also have improved through the years. But I think there is many areas and sectors we can improve when it comes to our relation with Kazakhstan. We think there is plenty of opportunity in Kazakhstan. We enjoy, many good factors together. We are very close. Few hours fly away. From both capitals. The environment also, when it comes to economical environment, there is a lot of changes happening in both countries. Especially recently, when the UAE passed the new investment law where allow the company to own 100% ownership of the business. So this will encourage more companies to come and establish themselves from Kazakhstan. Recently, the UAE have embarked a huge project worth $11 billion in the oil and gas industry of a joint venture between UAE and Kazakhstan. We look in the future to improve this relation. We look for all of your effort together from the government and the private sector to improve this relation. Also, when it's come to Dubai, we see a lot of Kazakh companies choosing Dubai to be their base, not only for the UAE market, but to penetrate all the Middle East market around us. Since we opened our office in Azerbaijan, in Baku, in Azerbaijan 7 years back, one of the mission of that office, how we can really open more channels of communication with Kazakhstan. And today meetings is one of that. Sharing information also is very important for our business community. I think as much as information we provide for our business community will help really to make this company move to the next level. Also, we'd like the Kazakh company to benefit of our international network. As you know, Dubai Chamber have offices in the most of the continent, especially when it's come to Africa. We have 4 offices in Africa, Latin America, and please use these offices also to expand beyond this region. So thank you very much for joining us today. I thank the ambassador. I thank the deputy minister who joined us. This shows their commitment and their support to our initiative. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much again. And I hope we benefit from this virtual meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I would now like to introduce His Excellency Madhya Menenbikov, Ambassador of the Republic of Kazakhstan, for some words of welcome.
Excellency Majid Al Ghurair, Chairman of the Dubai Chamber of Commerce, Your Excellencies, dear colleagues, on behalf of the Embassy of Republic of Kazakhstan to the United Arab Emirates, and on my own behalf, let me welcome you at today's virtual forum, Global Partnership Series. I express my gratitude to all the organizers and to Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry as the hosting site of the event, aimed to further promotion of bilateral trade and investment ties between our two friendly countries. Dear colleagues, I would like to note that the UAE is a key economic partner of Kazakhstan in the region. Regular and comprehensive dialogue at the top level has served as a solid foundation for our relations. The bilateral agenda has been consistently enriched with mutual beneficial projects and initiatives. Overall, cooperation between our countries has approached the level of strategic partnership. Last year, 2020, despite the pandemic spread, we successfully arranged the first official visit of our President, His Excellency Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, to the UAE, and the working visit of Kazakhstan Prime Minister, His Excellency Askar Mamin. These visits had economic investment.
Thank you, Your Excellency. There must be some technical issues with the ambassador, and we would like to continue with our program until we have sorted this technical issue. For the last but not least part of the program, it's my pleasure to introduce His Excellency Alisher Abdi Kadyrov, Vice Minister of the National Economy for the Republic of Kazakhstan, for the keynote address.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. First of all, I wanted to apologize on behalf of Vice Minister Alisher Abdi Kadyrov. He is on his way from an unscheduled meeting in President administration. He will be in a few minutes.
Do we need to wait for him, or?
I can start.
Yeah, sure.
And
Then
he will
he
continue
can
maybe. Yeah.
Sure.
Let me express gratitude to the distinguished participants of the Global Partnership Series, Kazakhstan. Despite the COVID pandemic, it's important that we continue our dialogue and interaction in all areas. First of all, I would like to thank you, all of you, for your participation and interest to the development of investment cooperations, trade and economic relations with Kazakhstan. United Arab Emirates is the main economic and investment partner of Kazakhstan in the region. Special attention is paid to promotion of investment cooperation with United Arab Emirates and the attraction of foreign capital. Since 2005, the United Arab Emirates businesses have invested $2.4 billion to Kazakhstan. The inflow of FDI from United Arab Emirates in the first 9 months of 2020 amounted to $128.8 million. Today, there are more than 300 commercially active United Arab Emirates companies in the country, from oil and gas, mining to agriculture, infrastructure to education, financial service, and etc.
Hello, dear guests. Sorry for being late. Let me continue. So, investment cooperation between our countries developing very quickly. This is confirmed by the working visit of the Prime Minister of the Republic of Kazakhstan to UAE in October 2020. During the visit, we have reached an agreement to create a roadmap for trade and investment cooperation consisting of concrete projects. Together, we have selected 30 projects in the fields of agriculture, mining, petrochemistry, pharmaceuticals. The implementation of these projects will bring our investment relations to a new level. Generally, the government of Kazakhstan attaches great importance to the implementation of all our joint investment projects and providing all the necessary support that companies need. Today, we offer a favorable business environment, which ranks 25th among 190 countries, according to the World Bank 2020 Doing Business report. Over the past 2 years, the country has improved its positions by 11 points. Kazakhstan showed significant improvement in such indicators as getting credit, plus 35 positions, starting a business, plus 14 positions, getting electricity, plus 9 positions, and maintained its positions by the indicator enforcing contracts, fourth place. The function of attracting investments belongs to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It ensures successful function of the three-level, as we call it, investment attraction and facilitation system. Comprising our missions overseas, the embassies, the MFA, and the regions. The Embassy of Kazakhstan and UAE being the first link in the system. They are open to cooperation with the UAE entrepreneurs and investors. All the key ministries, local executive bodies, and national companies have appointed officials at the level of deputy heads responsible for investments and export promotion. The country also has 13 special economic zones and 23 industrial zones. Participants of special economic zones receive tax benefits and other incentives. Moreover, Kazakhstan has established a direct investment fund in order to increase the competitiveness of the national economy and stimulate investment activity. The operation of the fund allows implementing large-scale investment projects with the participation of investors on the co-investment principle. Another flagship solution for investors is the Astana International Financial Center that operates in Nur Sultan city. The AIFC embraces the best practices of financial centers of New York, Singapore, London, and Dubai, based on the principles and norms of English common law. Participants of the AIFC are entitled to the simplified tax, visa, and labor regimes. I'd like to invite Arabian companies, banks, and financial institutions to explore the opportunities offered by the AIFC. To ensure further economic growth, the Kazakhstan government will continue to pursue a policy of attracting investments. We see definite scope of expanding our investment, trade, cultural, and tourism with you, dear colleagues. In order to continue the effective implementation of reforms in the context of the pandemic, in early September 2020, the creation of the Agency for Strategic Planning and Reforms with direct reporting to the President was announced. On the top of that, the Council of Reforms was created under the leadership of the President Tokayev. One of the bold initiatives mentioned by President Tokayev during his State of Nation address in order to attract investors and improve investment climate is the introduction of a new instrument, a strategic investment agreement. The agreement provides special conditions for companies implementing investment projects in the key areas of the economy, including the stability of legislation, exemption from customs duties, and VAT on imports, a state grant, the reimbursement of capital infrastructure costs, the possibility of extending preferences under the SEZ. Dear ladies and gentlemen, Kazakhstan remains the region's biggest economy with a favorable geographical location, excellent infrastructure, great transit potential, and global connectivity. Our embassy and Kazakh Invest are ready to provide you with all the necessary support and assistance. You will find a well-developed system of support for investors and partners to grow your business together in Kazakhstan. In conclusion, I would like to thank you once again for attending this event, and once more, welcome you to do business in Kazakhstan. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Now, let's get the discussion started. Allow me to introduce Rebecca McLaughlin, our moderator for today's panel discussion. Rebecca.
A very good morning to you all. Thank you so much, Aisha, for that warm introduction. And welcome dignitaries, ladies, gentlemen, from all over the world, right here in the region, North Africa, Europe, and Asia Pacific, as we embark upon our panel discussion for this morning, which is titled Creating New Avenues of Bilateral Cooperation, focusing very much on the UAE being Kazakhstan's leading strategic trade and economic partner in the Arab region. Today, our discussion will focus upon the common interests. What are the synergies and the opportunities in the months and years that lie ahead? We'll be looking at many sectors, not least among them agriculture, manufacturing, logistics, IT, petrochemicals, oil and gas, as we've already touched upon, and F&B. We would value your input, as Aisha said at the top of this session. Please do follow the prompts on your devices and send me your questions so that we can put them to our esteemed panelists. And speaking of those panelists, they are Azamat Kozanov. He is the MD of Kazakh Invest. His Excellency Fahad Al-Gagawi, the CEO of FDI Dubai. Asilbek Jakiyev, he is from the National Chamber of Entrepreneurs, Atameken. And completing our esteemed lineup, I'm delighted to introduce Mr. Omar Khan, the Director of International Offices for the Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Let me jump straight in so we can get to the heart of the matter. Let me come to you first. A very warm welcome to you. Kazakh Invest. Briefly explain for our audience, what is the mandate of Kazakh? Which milestones have been reached in recent years to strengthen cooperation between Kazakhstan and the UAE? I understand there's more than 30 projects, not least in the agricultural space. Tell us more.
Thank you, Rebecca, and salam alaikum to all the participants, their excellencies, and all the colleagues. It's an honor to talk in front of you. And basically, let me wish your families and yourself a very good spirit and good health in this uncertain period of time. And I hope the bright future is coming. And so the relationship between our countries are strengthening these days. And we hope that our cooperation will be more fruitful, more beneficially interesting and profitable for all the countries. And regarding your question, I would like to mention the mandate that Kazakh Invest actually possess. We are, in a sense, standard classic investment promotion agency with a certain mandate. We're working on behalf of the government of the Republic of Kazakhstan when it comes to the negotiations and when it comes to the attraction of the foreign direct investments for the FDI. So far, around $340 billion has been attracted into Kazakhstan economy since our independence, since 1991 in particular. And what is our role? We're trying to facilitate and improve and, make sure that international investors feel themselves comfortable in Kazakhstan. And at the same time, we are trying to communicate and promote those investment projects that are available in Kazakhstan, investment office in particular. And of course, we would like to position ourselves not just as a state body, which is trying to facilitate FDI, but we're trying to become more of a strategic consultants to foreign investors, because what we are aiming and our mission and vision is to become to chase and to look for consistency, not just intensity. And we would like to be consistent in that efforts. And this is what we're actually basically doing these days. And regarding recent updates, like you mentioned, like 30 investment projects were offered to UAE so far in December. And of course, 30 is just a bigger scale, and throughout current months we've identified that we received some feedback from the UAE side, and we realized that certain products, for instance, are not suitable and maybe not feasible to implement, not the price wise that the competition is not there, I mean in terms of logistics and stuff. So we try to narrow it down. Nowadays, we're discussing project by project. In particular, we understand that there's a big interest in terms of meat production, lamb in particular. At the same time, there's an interest and there's a demand for poultry products. We understand that greenhouse production is not as interesting for UAE, since UAE is developing their own facilities in terms of greenhouse productions, but we also understand there is a demand for fresh produce. And step by step, we're trying to improve that. At the same time, we're trying to understand the buy side. We're trying to understand what are the standards of UAE products, basically agricultural products, and we're trying to improve the quality of those products as well. And we're trying to kind of provide a more detailed and custom-made pipeline of the projects at this moment. There are various discussions are going on, various negotiations are underway, and some of them are, I would like to keep it under the table, keep it confidential at the moment, but those are the main areas that we're working on at this moment.
Thank you, Azamat. Confidential for now, but we hope to be the first to know very soon. Exciting that there are more strategic alliances and news of bilateral trade agreements coming out between the two countries. You touched upon poultry. Do stay tuned, everybody, because our quick fire round at the end of this session will include one of those companies from Kazakhstan. So it perfectly dovetails with our discussion today. I'm going to jump now to you, Your Excellency, Fahad Al-Gagawi. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Dubai continues to be a leader in global FDI attraction, but how does it stay, is my question. How do you stand apart from the competition out there, from other investment destinations, Your Excellency?
Yes, thank you. My regard to their excellencies with us today, Mr. Majid Al-Ghrair, and His Excellency Mr. Madhya, and Mr. Abdul Qadirov. I'd like to just go back a little bit in history, where I was at the Chamber of Commerce, where actually the Chamber at that time organized the first engagement on trade mission between UAE and Dubai as well, with Kazakhstan in '98. I'm revealing the age here, but this was the first mission with an exhibition in Almaty. It was an interesting one that was repeated later on. So great memories here with the Chamber and with Kazakhstan as well. To continue on the question, Dubai has a different or a unique value proposition. As we look at it, it consists of three areas. It's Dubai, the city, as Dubai as the hub of the region, and Dubai as a global gateway. What we are putting together is where the readiness of the city came together for a future investment. We as a city offers a lot in terms of where we are, what we do, how the city is put into in terms of infrastructure and lifestyle and different availabilities for businesses, but also as a hub for the region as we speak about it, and then as a global gateway. Dubai is recognized globally today as one of the global business hubs. We also look at the readiness framework that was set for Dubai long time ago. We don't need to incentivize the system. It's more the system itself is bringing the city to be an incentive as a full city rather than going into certain areas. Also maintaining the global connectivity allows investors to tap on the regional and global opportunities, leveraging the infrastructure of Dubai, as we mentioned on the hub and gateway model. And this is more on an attraction of a market of 2.4 billion consumers in the Middle East, Indian subcontinent, North and East Africa. Also engaging with investors to understand their needs. This is the practice on daily basis for Dubai. We just closed a meeting with the government again within the same thing just half an hour ago. At the same time, Dubai proactively work with partners from different destinations. And at the FDI, we understand the needs of investors and we work with them on direct level, but also through partnership. We continue to embrace the entrepreneurial mindset and has launched actually multiple platforms for the city across the city for investors. Like District 2020, like incubators around the city, and the future district that was announced just before COVID. We look at terms or long-term plans for investors to articulate a plan over when we talk about it, maybe 20 to 30 years ahead. And investors in Dubai really can see where the city is going for the next 20 years. Because this was set into many different strategies, and that gives them leverage to decide earlier where they want to be and which places around the world and what cities that will help them grow their business in a larger region. And this is part of the Dubai growth story that started many years ago. Again, we have the Dubai Plan 2021 that is changing right now with a new, I think, a lot of work ongoing in the government. As well as leveraging also the UAE's Vision 2030. So many things going around in many different ways, and just solidifying the city's global ranking right now. We are on the future list of future cities or investment cities of the future by Financial Times. We are on the 3rd place after London and Singapore, and within one of the most favorable city. In the global ranking, we are not ranked among the medium or small or large, but under the major city, which are cities that shape on global investment, and we come on number 2. So these are type of what is happening right now and the way we look at it, and hopefully looking at a better after COVID results.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Indeed, a better, brighter future for everybody, not least business and trade at the moment. We will come back to you shortly. Let me now go to Asselbeck from the National Chamber of Entrepreneurs at Meccan. Now, given that you are the official representative for cooperation with major oil and gas operators and oil field service development, it would be remiss if I didn't ask you, what are the areas of potential cooperation between Kazakhstan and the UAE in the oil and gas sector? And in particular, can the SMEs benefit?
Thank you, Rebecca. Actually, this is really good opportunity for us, for Kazakhstani companies and Dubai-based companies to cooperate. The story started when recently in November we visited Dubai. We met with several companies. We promoted them to come to Kazakhstan. Definitely, as in UAE, the oil and gas sector is a primary sector of the economy. It almost consists of 20% of GDP. Therefore, this is a very important sector, and it's let's say it's engine of the whole economy. So, as in the case of UAE, the 2020 was very challenging year. So, due to pandemic and the oil prices, the industry suffered. The budget and new projects were postponed. But this year, it seems the market has started to recover. This is good. We have very good projects, upcoming projects that can be of big interest to Dubai-based and UAE-based companies. Currently, due to the very strong local content policies in Kazakhstan, we support local companies and foreign companies to establish joint ventures, to participate in specific tenders. So if it say about the Kazakhstani general oil and gas market, in 2020, the oil production was 85 million tons. This is quite good, but this is less according to the OPEC agreements. Basically, there are major oil and gas fields worldwide, like Tengiz, that is operated by Chevron, Kashagan offshore oil field in Caspian Sea that is operated by Shell, and big Karachaganak oil field that is operated by ENI and Shell. So the opportunity lies within several sectors in oil and gas sector. This is construction, where Dubai-based companies can benefit working in this field in oil and gas sector through joint ventures. Definitely this year is really a must is digitalization. We expect that 2020 digitalization market in oil and gas sector will rise to $200 million. This is mostly related to remote control, HEC, some additional digitalization issues. This year, also Kazakhstan enforced a law that prohibits major oil and gas operators to waste. To waste, and therefore this year the special is on recycling. Opportunities for Dubai-based companies in recycling. So in different fields like maintenance, construction, as I saw, service sector, there are big opportunities.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. And digitalization, as you say, so important, not least for oil and gas and the energy sector, but every industry that wants to continue to grow and evolve right now. Just a note to our audience, forgive us if we're experiencing some technical problems. This is what happens when you go global, but stay with us and persevere. The conversation goes on, not least with Mr. Omar Khan next from the Dubai Chamber. A warm welcome to you again. Kazakhstan recently signed up to become part of Dubai's World Logistics Passport, such an important policy initiative to really boost trading opportunities between emerging markets. Tell us more, and in what ways will this encourage and facilitate more business between the two countries?
Thank you, Rebecca. Good morning, good afternoon, good day good time of the day to everybody who's watching. Your Excellencies, it's great to be here and to connect virtually. I look forward for us to connecting again physically very soon. But shifting to the World Logistics Passport, this was launched last year as an initiative headed by the government of Dubai, and also spearheaded with Dubai Ports World, as well as Emirates Sky Cargo. This was a program, a global program, to facilitate and enact the world south-south corridor, the digital Silk Road, where that's going to connect a lot of the south to south trade connections and ports that Dubai Ports World is part of, that Emirates Airline is part of through their cargo network. But also since then, we've worked with, as the chamber as well, and many of the government entities with the group, the task force. And our target is to raise Dubai's overall trade to 2 trillion dirhams. This was post-COVID, so now this is something of a challenge. But however, we've connected with Dubai Chamber of Commerce, Dubai Economic Development Department, Danata, Emirates Sky Cargo, Fly Dubai, all of us to bring this network together of traders, whether they are in the hub of Dubai itself or across the world, in Uruguay, in Brazil, and of course in Kazakhstan, where we have a traders and exporters loyalty program where we reward the infrastructure and the participants in it, whether they're a trader or an operating partner in a port, for connecting to and through Dubai. This is going to have a lot of impact as more and more members come through. And as we said, it is the south-south corridor, and most of it is on the southern hemisphere. So this is going to be a big game changer for Dubai, and this is where Dubai is looking how to add value to companies who are loyal to working in and working through Dubai and our operators. Because what we do as well is coming back to digitization. Part of the initiative is Dubai Trade, and this is the company that is under Dubai World that's digitized almost 100% of our operations here in Dubai, and now it's in over 10 countries, and expanding the know-how for digitization and increasing the output of any port or any partner it works with. So again, this is a very important part, and we're very glad that Kazakhstan is going to be one of our partners.
Thank you, Omar. Yes, indeed. very much focusing on helping exporters at this time. Your partners and your members, digitization, as you say, will play such an important part. Broadening the discussion out, we've touched upon agriculture as one of the key industries where there could be greater ties. Talk to me about food security and how you think Kazakhstan and the UAE can really get together and help each other there at this time.
Well, in this difficult time, one of the few sectors, two sectors were really, or actually three, were really blossoming in 2020 and the difficult time, of course, that we're having. Food security and trade, it seems to have spurted high above than our expectations. Of course, logistics is an enabler, healthcare as well, and what I would call health logistics is something that's really important. And these are really very important opportunities that Kazakhstan can really, we can work with them, and also they can support us, because if you look at Kazakhstan, it's the world's 9th largest country in terms of area. It has 18 to 20 million in population, so it's not that densely populated, but it's also the world's largest landlocked country, and but it borders 5 different countries, from China to Uzbekistan to many more, and the Caspian Sea. There's a lot of resources there in terms of the opportunity. Of course, food, and I also didn't mention the halal food and other sectors are a great opportunity. In terms of tourism, this is a great opportunity as well, because Dubai is a very strong tourism hub. But I'm not talking about just bringing visitors from Kazakhstan to Dubai and investors, but also the know-how. Services are really important. When we look at a great product, whether it's the beautiful mountains in Kazakhstan or a lot of the forestry, and there's so much there needs to be a supply chain in tourism, whether it's translators, whether it's transportation, or people who put packages together, and so on and so forth. So that is also another industry. And also in 2017, I was lucky enough to be part of the delegation that went just before the 2017 Expo in Kazakhstan to see the urbanization in the city that was planned. It was very impressive, and it's a smart, sustainable city. It's very important for them. And this is another area that we have very much in common. We have know-how in the supply chain from all over the world. So this is just a quick glimpse of some of the industries. And even now, copper, for example, there's a large import that we have from Kazakhstan, unwrought copper. So, and copper now has hit $8,000 per ton, and people are in fear of it going up. So this might be a great opportunity for investors to go into Kazakhstan and find partners and to see how they can help their partners invest and process copper further to have that margin to themselves instead of shipping the raw material outside. So this is just off the top of my head, but there's a lot that can be done with Kazakhstan and Dubai.
Thank you very much, Omar. Azamat, let me come back to you, because you touched upon agriculture and Omar was touching upon food security. Would you say that it's a sector of priority, but also what level of support can UAE businesses expect in Kazakhstan, not just within that sector? What challenges and opportunities should they be mindful of, but what support can you offer from your side?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Rebecca. Well, regarding the previous comments, I would like to point out that our pipeline of 30 projects exactly were comprised of the opportunities in agriculture, around 21 projects we offered. Mining, especially copper and gold. Basically, that was the things that we initiated and we offered. And at the same time, we also touched upon the tourism in particular. And across the sector, there are many opportunities at this moment still. And, our pipeline and offers are increasing. Day by day, we're trying to improve the quality of the investment proposals that we're offering. We're trying to focus more on brownfield projects, and we're trying to engage the government support as well when it comes to the project's realization. As in his opening speech, His Excellency Vice Minister Alisher Abdulkadirov, he touched upon various investment support measures, basically. And of course, we understand that preferences is not the key element when it comes to investment decision, but we understand that it's one of the important points. Currently, we've got special investment contracts, which applies for processing industries, and agriculture is one of them as well. And apart from some standard tax exemptions, corporate income tax, property tax, land tax. Apart from that, like Alisher Abdulkadirov previously mentioned, we've developed from this year a special investment agreement, which is historically reflects all the inquiries that were addressed from the international investors. Apart from the fiscal preferences, we also include some other items, such as automatic prolongation of special economic zones, at the same time stability of the law and immunity for changes in the legislation, basically. And we understand that, requests from the investors, they varies, right, from the industry, from the region itself. And we made it so that this special investment contract is going to be pretty much flexible. Apart from the preferences, apart from the stability of the law, apart from the extension of the special economic zones, we are ready to include other things that are going to be requested from the investor. And I believe this is the main news. And on top of that, we understand that FDI these days is not an easy thing, right? Because based on global reports, we see that global FDI is dropping by 40%, and Kazakhstan is not an exception. We're also seeing a decline in particular. And what we're trying to do, we're trying to improve, and we're trying to make sure that investors understand the complexity of governance in Kazakhstan, because we've got many organizations, committees, line ministries, associations, national companies, you name it, so on and so forth. And sometimes it's very challenging to understand what is the right process. And nowadays there's a serious discussion on to improve this process, and we are undergoing the business process re-engineering, basically, when it comes to foreign direct investments. And we are trying to make sure that, investor understand all the stages when it comes to licensing, when it comes to in-kind grants, when it comes to the investment preference, when it comes to the credit terms of the government institutions, financial institutions. So we're trying to establish a special task force which is going to focus on main projects, and there are discussions on to establishing a special task force within the government which is going to be focused on major projects. And we believe that this task force is also going to be involved in the projects that are going to be in the future done together with UAE.
Well, that perfectly brings me to His Excellency Fahad Al-Gagawi, because of course FDI, to quote Azmat, not easy at the best of economic times. So my question to you, Your Excellency, would be how to weather this storm. What are the positives that we can take away from the current economic and trading environment? Your Excellency, don't know if you can hear me.
Yes. See, I think there are many different things that can be looked at to develop where you are. Number one is taking market signals that we started already last year, and it was difficult to know where you are in everything happening. And there was no, let's say, a consultancy report that will stand more than 1 week. So we took more a marketing, view of it, and it was more the market signals that come that you sums it up at the end of the year that makes where you are. You don't know when you will get out of COVID, and until now, I think we are still hesitant to say summer would be better or not. But we are Dubai is always on the optimistic side, and we are designing the city to be ready for that. Nevertheless, we designed that even earlier last year. There are a few things that you need to look at when you will develop a place to really come and start re-attracting the investment. But for us, investment didn't stop. I think we had a major announcement even in summer where companies have announced their global headquarters even. Company and 5G technology industry took Dubai announcement, and even in summer. Some investment, European investment funds started in summer as well. We're in talk with huge number of individuals as well as companies who are looking at setting up in Dubai in the next future. I'm talking this year. Of course, decision making is there. The process is going to take a little bit more time. That might move to the year after. It's about, again, I will come back to the readiness model that Dubai created itself to be within that way of thinking. Being ready for good times, and at the same time will make you be ready at bad times, such times like that. Putting the fundamental of where you are, you don't design you don't design your business only for such times. I think it's always to have contingency plans and a system that can move fast and change quickly. This is what we saw since reopening of the city in early June last year. Of course, many things have happened, but we are still there. We are open. We didn't close. Business are, yes, not finding it the same way they used to, but still they're open. They are, conducting their business in a different way, but it is what it is, and we are there. On the highest, let's say, if we will look at the highest potential opportunities, I think it's the next wave we saw, and this was an opportunity that I stand and wrote it by hand, and it was a market signal. There will be a global shift for migration to new destinations, and these destinations are not necessarily the large destination that people think. As the destination that can absorb and ready to facilitate investment, which are the destinations like Dubai and a few other cities around the world. Not really many. Businesses will move, not necessarily
Sorry,
all of
Kelly,
them.
didn't get you.
Excuse me? Businesses will move, and not necessarily all of them, but there are businesses who want to take a new shift and really go to a growth place that will assist them in their future plans. We have few things that we took in place and we capitalize on, like our investors onboarding program. And that engagement with investors from the start, that continues to build the relationship in good times and bad times. They look at it as one of the Dubai standing elements that will continue to be in their minds and heart for the future. At the same time, we have an aftercare program that works with investors to challenge the investment barriers, and at the same time, it starts when the investment happens. Investors need some sort of support even after their investment. They need it or not, they know they can go to a government and can get a facilitation. And 3 years ago, I think we got 20% of investment, total investment that came to Dubai were out of a reinvestment coming from existing investors in the city. Some of the tools like Dubai Investment Week and a few other events that we create are one of the elements, but we always look at future or further markets that we outreach or have our outreach programs there, and we take advantage of them. We saw the growth into many different new areas. Just an example, in 2000 or six years ago, 2015, we had 16% participation of investment coming from US market. We had a full 5 years cover into that with the global investment or Dubai global government missions with many different stakeholders from the government and private sector. Happy to say today it's 34% US investment in total FDI into the city. Many things like that can be achieved if there is a focus, if there is a need, and there is an understanding of what needs are there for such destinations. We see a growth coming. Definitely, anything will be downhill, so we'll be in a much better position. But it's about how you set your destination. I think for the high tech, for the medium to high, let's say, sector, how we set it for the startups. We saw one of the best startups outcome last year with almost 1.3 billion acquisition coming from Europe to a local or Dubai-based startup, which was European as well. And it was celebrated by EU. The graduate is an EU graduate startup program that came and started this business in Dubai. And the buyers or the acquisition came from EU startup program as well. So that goes well to see where the city is. It is a place to really attract startups to grow their businesses. It's a global showcase place for investors to see opportunities and capture them from. We work closely with different government entities, and we will continue to work into global scene. We are today as on the WIPA, where Dubai is leading WIPA presidency, into putting a lot of different regions together that they can facilitate their talk together and find synergies within a region that helps them to better attract investment altogether. This is something that we are proud of, and we will continue to work with our colleagues here at Invest in Kazakhstan. We're happy to engage and see what other opportunities we can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. So much to take away from that, not least the migration, the new world order, Dubai being one of those key destinations for people, but also businesses. We have to wrap up our panel discussion, but I want to give the last word to Asylbek. We come back to you. What's your key takeaway from our discussion here today, within the context of the global pandemic, within the context of the sectors that we've touched upon, the new world order for businesses, and as His Excellency was saying, the need for so many within different industries to be flexible and adapt quickly to survive. So the last words briefly to you, please.
Thank you, Rebecca. So I do believe that even though there are different skepticism about the future of oil and gas industry, that the next 20, 30 years, oil and gas industry will be the engine of the world economy. In this sense, I can tell that those planned projects in Kazakhstan, roughly 11 billion different projects, 11 billion USD different projects, they will be developed within 2 or maybe 5 years from now. Therefore, we have to be prepared, and we promote Kazakhstan as a place where, for example, Dubai companies can come and work in the oil and gas service industry. I think it accounts that Kazakhstan is also as a hub, Caspian hub, so the Russian big market, oil and gas market, Uzbekistan is opening. Therefore, it's quite interesting to work here. We have been working with several Dubai companies to establish joint venture. We support them. We know what requirements Dubai-based companies, UAE-based companies have. Firstly, as it was mentioned by Kazakh Invest representative, this is protection of investment rights. Therefore, there is a good national center where several Western-based oil service companies are registered, and they're now working in Kazakhstan. Therefore, this is, I think, only a historical momentum for us to continue to cooperate and bring some joint forces into oil and gas sector of Kazakhstan. This is a really good opportunity for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all of my esteemed panelists there. We must leave our discussion for this morning, for this afternoon, if you're in Kazakhstan. My deepest thanks, a virtual thanks from all of our audience members too. So we wish you a very good day, but don't go away, because as promised, we now have a quick fire round. And I would like to introduce to you 2 companies, one from Kazakhstan, one Dubai based. On the Kazakhstan side, we have Azmat Bedranov. He is the Business Development Manager. So a very warm welcome to you both, gentlemen. How are you today?
I'm good, and a very good afternoon to the people
Hi, Rebecca.
and the people who are sitting in Dubai. It's almost afternoon, so good morning and good afternoon to everybody. Yeah.
A global welcome and a socially distanced high five to you all.
Yeah.
It's by name and nature, this is a quick fire round, so I'll ask you to be brief and concise in your answers, if I may. Let me start by coming to you, Asmat, first. Briefly explain how long you've been operating in the UAE market, why you decided to expand and increase your operations here, and the biggest challenge that you've overcome. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca, and thank you very much for all of the audience. Our team started meat exports, lamb meat exports back in 2018. Since that time, I understood all the processes, different markets potential, and supply capabilities of Kazakhstan. We are now into development of sheep breeding infrastructure there in Kazakhstan, along with ongoing meat exports. We currently run projects like feedlot operation, sheep herd grazing, feed production, and developing. We think that it's our main, very important project, family sheep breeding innovative farm, which will be scaled along the Kazakhstan. Our actual business with UAE started from the great event Gulf Food 2019, and we were brought there by the support of our government, and we thought it was a good luck and chance for us. Since that time, we are here. Our countries are so far from each other geographically, but we are so close mentally. Human dignity, honor and reputation, loyalty to the family, the priority of family values over personal interests. So basically, we feel comfortable here. And our product is well recognized and people love the taste of Kazakh meat. We see the market potential and we feel comfortable here, as I said. One more important point that previous valued speakers, respectable speakers said that Dubai is a very good place as an re-export hub for the whole of the GCC markets and the rest of the world, actually. We have, buyers in Oman, in Qatar, in Saudi Arabia, in Bahrain. So basically, we are thinking of setting up a re-export hub here in Dubai as well. And the key challenge is basically it was a pleasant surprise for us that UAE government services infrastructure is on such high level. The rules are strict but fair. Dubai is a real example of smart city. So getting import permits, accreditation of slaughterhouses, etc., it's all online service. So UAE is prepared long before to life circumstances we have now due to this pandemic. Like everywhere in the world, disputes between businesses arise. So basically, it would be good maybe if both sides would develop or guide business representatives on a quick and easy procedures to resolve the disputes to make Dubai and Kazakhstan even better field for business development.
Thank you, Almat. Firm but fair. I like that, strict but fair. In terms of ease of doing business, Mohammed, let me pose the same question to you then. How does it work conversely for you?
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mohammed Adil Mirza, and we do pharmaceutical and medical devices business in UAE and in Kazakhstan since 2003 and 2004. We established our company in Kazakhstan after we had established the company in Uzbekistan. So Kazakhstan was the second step in 2004, and we established Uzbekistan in 2000. Everybody has challenges. I'm not saying we did not have challenges. Of course, everybody has challenges. First of all, going into the Kazakhstan after Uzbekistan, the one big challenge was the language. We didn't know the language. We had to learn the language. And the business we are into is pharmaceuticals. It takes time. You have to establish your company. You have to hire the people. Then you have to go a lot of procedures to establish the company. But if you ask me today, I'm very happy. Kazakhstan government means Ministry of Health in Kazakhstan. They support very wisely to the companies who bring the good products. And we are doing good business in Kazakhstan as well as in other CIS countries. And the beauty of doing these countries from Dubai is we have made our head office in Dubai. I'm sitting in Dubai since I was 21. I studied over here and everything. My early age was here. And we are dealing with all the government departments of Dubai. They are so helpful. Same likewise in Kazakhstan. We are introducing a lot of new products that are needed in the market of Kazakhstan for the health safety of the people. Same we are trying to do here. And we are diversifying as well. I was listening to all the guests. They are talking about agriculture and the petrochemicals and everything. So yeah, it's very good. And by sitting in Dubai, I would say the easiness of doing business in these countries, especially Kazakhstan, it's very easy. We can bring all the materials to Dubai, to Jebel Ali Free Zone, and then we can re-export it. So it's like a hub for us, and it's beautiful, yeah.
It's beautiful, and Dubai is a home from home, not just for your business, but also
exactly.
for you.
Oh yeah,
it's warming to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
You've spoken about the soft and hard infrastructure advantages that Dubai has, and also the destination, of course, being such a magnificent trade hub. And what about the geographical destination of Kazakhstan? How does that work for you? And what about the speed and ease of getting your products to market?
It's very easy. There are everyday flights, and it's very easy. We have Air Astana flies there. We have Fly Dubai flies there. And we have very easy, if you want to send something tomorrow, you can send it tomorrow. But only, yeah, if you ask me, because I don't live in Kazakhstan, I live in Dubai. So if I have to go and attend some conferences or something, and if it's snowing over there, extreme cold, then it's a little bit of difficult task for me to handle. Otherwise, it's beautiful country, it's green. The people are very friendly. I have around 75 people working for me in my Kazakhstan office. Our head office is in Almaty. And we have 75 people working in our office in Almaty since 2004. People are very friendly, family-oriented, helpful. Everything is so good about it.
It's the best of both worlds, the snow and the sand. It's a perfect marriage.
Yeah.
Almat, I'm going to come to you and then briefly back to Mohammed for some final snapshot thoughts on what's the best advice that you could give Almat, a Kazakhstani company looking to set up operations here, or at least do more trade with Dubai. What would you say to them?
Basically, nothing special. I would suggest both parties to have more tight communication. Exactly, events like this one today is a very great initiative. You know, even on the preparation, we've already become very good friends with Mr. Adil, even brothers. So immediately we started exploring our cooperation capabilities. So basically, what I would say that better communication, more events like this, and ideas and cooperation will come up. Our company actually started only with the meat exports. Then we came here for partnership and trade and develop the trade of the meat as well. Now we've already set up some kind of food vault project in Dubai. It's a kind of service, storage, sales, infrastructure. So it's a kind of small micro Kazakhstani trade house. So, and we are planning to attract more exporters from Kazakhstan to present their products here. Likewise, it should be also bilateral trade too from some goods from Dubai to Kazakhstan as well. As Mr. Adil mentioned, there are daily flights and it's very easy. It's not cheap, but again, our government of Kazakhstan supports on subsidizing even the transportation of the goods. So basically more communication, that's it.
Let's talk. It's good to talk. More communication. Very briefly, Mohammed, last word to you. Your best advice.
Oh, well, I would say Kazakhstan is a very rich country. If you see geographically, they have natural products. I would like to urge the businessmen sitting in UAE and looking for diversification. They should visit through Chamber of Commerce to Kazakhstan, find a good partner for their area of interest, start developing the product, bring it to the UAE, and sell it to the world. This is going to be a very good collaboration. If few businessmen after this meeting can connect with Kazakhstan businessmen through chamber to chamber and start doing some business together, this will be a win-win situation for everybody.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. And there, everybody, we must leave it. A big thank you to everybody involved, excellencies, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen from all over the world, but not least Kazakhstan and the United Arab Emirates, which, as His Excellency says, has come a very long way in terms of the relation that was started back in 1998 with that first trade mission from the UAE. We continue to watch with interest what developments will take place in trade, tourism, culture, mining, pharmaceuticals, and of course agriculture, as we've recently been hearing. Many reforms and strategic policies being pushed through on both sides to improve the investment climate and attract more investors. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. More businesses, more investment, and a happier economy on both sides.
Correct.
So thank you again to everybody.
Thank you very much, Rebecca.
Thank you so much. I would like to say thank you to everybody, dignitaries from UAE, dignitaries from Kazakhstan. Thank you so much for the support always. We really appreciate it, and thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. And it just remains for me to say to everybody, if you wouldn't mind filling out a quick survey, which you will be prompted on your device to complete. We greatly appreciate your feedback. It's always very much welcomed. And do stay tuned for more events from Dubai Chamber and its partners. I wish you a very good day. Thank you again. Take care. All the best.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good job. Bye-bye.